Listen, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that I was not the one that took the last Coke from the break room fridge. It's obvious that he took the last Coke can, okay? I heard a distinct pop of a can a mere 10 minutes before I discovered this empty fridge, okay? And we all know that he never replenishes. Not once, not ever. I'm sorry, what are we talking about today? Stories are made from different perspectives. With Eddie, you can discover those stories within those perspectives in just minutes. Let's get started. For those of you that are combining multiple interviews into video stories, which I can assume is a good portion of you, I've got some good news for you. Eddie has just launched its newest feature, multi-video editing. Instead of doing the usual rigamaroll of watching every second of your footage, you can now create rough cuts with your complete collection of footage by simply just prompting Eddie. Today we're going to dive in a bit further than we did on our launch video, which you can watch right here if you want to catch yourself up. We'll be using the demo video that is currently loaded into Eddie that you can use right now. So first things first, uploading multiple files to Eddie is as simple as dragging them into the upload window. Or if you're all set up in the cloud, you can also upload from Google Drive and Dropbox. We support all types of containers and codecs that you might use. Right now, we support up to 5 video files. If you're watching this in, say, 2050, then have fun with your unlimited files. I hope that President Timothy Chalamet is leading the future country in the right direction. You'll notice that Eddie starts processing each file individually, transcribing the content, and analyzing the footage. Don't worry about keeping track of which file is which. Eddie's got you covered. Now here's where things get interesting. Instead of having to watch hours of footage to find connecting threads between all of these interviews, I can just ask Eddie to help me find them. There, let me show you what I mean. Hey Eddie, what are the main topics that were discussed? And just like that, Eddie gives us a breakdown of the common themes. Now let's start off with getting an edit out of Eddie. Hey Eddie, can you create a 3-minute story using topic 2? Now watch what happens. Eddie pulls the relevant clips from each interview, creating a coherent narrative that flows naturally between our subjects. You can tell which source the soundbite is pulling from by the camera icon next to it. It's like having different puzzle pieces that Eddie automatically fits together. But maybe that sequence doesn't really feel right. That's no problem. We can iterate on this. Let's punch this up a bit and try and keep each soundbite to 1 to 2 sentences. I want this to feel like a fast-paced documentary. See how quickly we can experiment with different story structures? Instead of manually scrubbing through 3 different timelines, Eddie helps us focus on what matters most, crafting the best possible story. When you're ready to export, Eddie preserves all the source file metadata and timecode information, so jumping back to your NLE is seamless. You'll get a clean timeline with your clips perfectly organized and ready to polish in a killer cut. Here, let me show you how it looks in Premiere. First, make sure that the XML is in the same folder as the source footage. Then you can just drag the XML into the media bin for it to connect. If you don't do that, you'll have to manually relink the footage. You've now got a non-destructive timeline with your rough cut ready to go. Well, Final Cut calls it a project, but they've always done things differently. You can cut the clips, extend the clips, add B-roll on top. The world's your oyster. What Eddie provides is meant to be a rough cut. You're the master storyteller, and it's your touch that will turn this into a masterpiece. What's uber convenient is the markers that come along with your XML. There will be transcript markers on your timeline and even attached to your source footage for extremely easy searching in your NLE. What was included in the cut is marked in blue, and what was omitted is marked in red. In Final Cut, we actually add your transcript as titles for more robust styling options, thanks to the power of FCP XML. Pro tip, I just discovered that Resolve can actually read FCP XMLs too, so if you want titles, export an FCP XML instead of an XML. And for convenience sake, you can also export SRT captions directly from Eddie if that's the way you roll. So there you have it. Eddie's multi-file feature turns what used to be a logistical headache into a storytelling opportunity. Instead of drowning in footage, you can focus on finding those perfect moments that make your story shine. Give it a try yourself. Import multiple interviews and start experimenting with different ways to weave them together. You might be surprised at the stories you discover. I'm Robbie, your Content and Community Manager, and I'll see you in the next one.